Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SJJ Show. And today we have a very special guest. He has done so much for the city, advocacy, organizing, and has done so much for our community. Please welcome Cesar Espinosa.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Thank
We're
you.
very, very appreciative of you being here. We really want to get to know you a little bit more, know our Houston leaders. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to become a service to the community.
Well, I'm a first generation immigrant from Mexico City, Mexico. My family brought me here to Houston when I was 5 years old. I grew up here in Houston, learned about Chopped and Screwed and Chopaholics Cumbia and all of that, Houston vibe. Long time, lifetime Rockets and Astros fan.
Beautiful.
And the Texan, that's a different conversation for some other from other topic, but it was grew up here. I grew up in the Gulfton area. Well, actually, I take it back. I grew up in Montrose first. I came here. Family moved to Montrose first. From Montrose was not gentrified yet. It was actually there was drive-bys and things like that, and people don't remember that part of Montrose at that point. But then I spent an awkward year in Ohio. And then we came right back because Ohio is cold and it's not Houston.
No.
And
what is there to do in Ohio? No.
There's nothing. There's nothing to do. You gain weight because you're inside all the time because it's snowing all the time.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, and then we came back and then I grew up. After that, we settled in the Gulfton area.
Okay.
Where I grew up, went to local schools, went to HISD, then went to HCC, and then the University of Houston. And from a very early age, I knew that I like to help people. I always had a heart to help people. I also had a mom who was who encouraged us to help others. My mom was the mom that was every time somebody would get kicked out of their house, my friends, my brother's friends, my sister's friends, always had a couch to sleep on. So we learned the servant leadership role from her, and
Amazing.
then my mom was also very political. So my mom was a catalyst in us being who we are today. And shout out to my mom. Saludos a mi
Shout
mamá.
out to the mamas.
Yes, all the mamas.
We love
out
mamas
there.
here.
Yes.
So what does your organization do on the everyday?
We do about 6,000 things every. No.
Yeah.
We
do it all.
Yeah, we do a lot of things, but we have three major programs at Fiel. A fourth one coming soon. Our first program is we run. We help young folks who want to go to school, specifically immigrants who may either be immigrants themselves or come from mixed status families, to be able to achieve that goal. And we do that through counseling, through financial aid workshops, different or through one-on-ones to help people navigate that very complex system. The second program that we run is we run a legal clinic. So, and a lot of folks don't know this. We want people to get access to good quality immigration attorneys,
Beautiful.
but at a very low cost, and more importantly, honest attorneys.
Honest attorneys,
We usually charge a market rate, and on a sliding scale, a quarter less than a quarter of what private attorneys would charge is what they would end up paying with Fiel. And the most beautiful part about that is it all goes back to our mission. It all goes back to the program to help other people out, which leads me into our third program, which is our advocacy program. We stand with families, we stand with community, whatever the issue may be, and we help them navigate these very tough situations 100% free of charge. There's a lot of rumors out there that we charge to do advocacy services for folks, and all of that is a lie. We stand with people, and none of the folks that we help navigate their very complex situations ever get a bill from Fiel. And then our fourth program that is up and coming that we're hoping to launch next year is we're going to start working on community health, and we're going to start with mental health.
Oh, very important.
Because a lot of our folks are going through it right now, and so we want folks to have access to mental health services so that we can start tackling issues like depression, anxiety, and things like that, especially right now when it's really troubling times for our community.
Troubling. There is a lot of things going on in Houston right now, especially with immigration, ICE, raids going all around. And our families really do get impacted. There's a lot of families that don't want to come out. It's very detrimental to our community. And I'm so happy that you're actually opening up that space for them, which is great. And I hope the best for next year.
Thank you.
So who benefits the most out of your programs?
Community folks, any community member that's struggling, that's going through something. One of the other things that we do is we're not what is it called, social workers, but we act like social workers. A lot of people call our office before they call any other agency, and they ask for resources.
Okay.
And one of the rules that I have at Fiel, that we have at Fiel, is that we never let somebody off the phone or leave our office with questions unanswered. We will try to look for the assistance, even if we can't provide it. We have a huge network of organizations, attorneys, different agencies that we can refer them to, so that our community can get the answers that they need.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful because we do have a lot of questions, and sometimes we always think that we have to pay a lawyer to get the actual questions, or different groups. So I'm so happy that you have that access and that people can just call you and actually get the information that they need. So I really thank you for that. What has surprised you most about the work that you do? I know that's a lot.
Well, many things surprise me. I think what has surprised me the most about what I do is the impact that we've had in our community. Sometimes, we don't think we're doing enough, but then people start recognizing the work that we do, not only in the city of Houston, but at the state level, at the national level, and even at the international level. We've been recognized for the work that we do. But I do have one instance where I was really surprised.
Okay, I want to
One time
hear.
I was at U of H, and Dolores Huerta was speaking at U of H,
Okay.
and I'm a huge fan of Dolores Huerta. And after the event, I went up to her and take a picture, and I was like, Ms. Huerta, like I'm so. It's an honor to meet you. Been following your work since forever, since I was a little kid. And she looks at my shirt and she's like, "You're Cesar, right?" And I was like, "What?"
You know me?
I was like, "You know me, Dolores?" I
Yes.
call her Dolores now. No,
You
I'm just
did?
kidding.
Ah, okay, we're cool
I'm like,
now.
Miss Huerta. I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Yes, that's me."
Oh my
And
gosh.
we follow your work at the foundation very closely.
Beautiful.
And we know that you are all our allies down here, and I commend you for what you're doing. So that was
Amazing.
really surprising that Dolores Huerta knew about Fiel, and
Oh
she
my
knew
gosh.
and she knew me by
And she know
name.
your
She knew me
name
by my name. So
personally. That is
yeah.
amazing. That's how impactful you are in the city and nationally at that, because you've done so much. You're always at the protests, you're at vigils, you're everywhere in the city. I've seen you all over Houston. And it's just so beautiful to see like the inspiration. You inspire others just like others you get inspired by. So I love that. How has activism really changed over the years? I know you've been being an activist for many years. What do you think has changed throughout the time that you've been doing it?
Activism has gotten harder, but it's
Okay.
gotten easier in other ways. It's
Okay.
gotten harder because now people are more, they're more apathetic sometimes, and sometimes other generations are more apathetic. They're like,
Yeah.
why do things and nothing changes and things like that. It's gotten easier because back in my day, we used to
You know.
have to, you know, it go and call every single station and tell them about our press releases, or like we used to print these things called flyers and go
Yeah.
and drop them off at places and at the University of
Yes.
Houston with staplers and things like that. And now everything has transitioned to be online,
Social
social
media. Social
media,
media plays a
and
big
things
part.
like that. So, and then one of the great things that has happened also is we've been able to create our own platform.
Beautiful.
Whatever we decide to put out in the community, whatever action items we can have direct access to our community. So it's been it's been some good changes, some bad changes. Oh, and another big change has happened. This is bad
This is
too.
oh.
That some people because one of the unintended consequences of social media, unfortunately, has also been that people have become a lot more siloed because they only listen to what they like, not to other
Ah.
perspectives. And so that's something that we're constantly riling with, is that the
Okay.
fact that people, when you hear enough of it's kind of like listening to streaming, to music streaming.
Yes.
You find yourself sometimes that you're listening to Bad Bunny all the time when
Oh,
there's like so many other artists out there.
millions of other
So,
artists.
but
Okay.
you have to make that conscious decision to listen to other artists, or to
True.
like search, or like have your streaming service play random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it happens also with news. Some people just concentrate to news that they feel good about
Mm-hmm.
without listening to perspectives that could make them uncomfortable,
That are
but in a
real
good way.
impactful. Very, very impactful. I think social media does put you in a niche sometimes when it
Hmm.
comes to social media, and it, like you said, you'll follow certain people, but other people you might not like how they talk or their perspective and things like that. So it's very important, like, even though we do have social media, to be able to still have community.
Yeah.
It gives us way more access to a lot more people, but we also have to remember, with that being said, there's a bigger role that comes with that, and it's very important,
Hmm.
to stay true to yourself while you're on social media, and being an activist on social media.
Correct.
So what does effective activism look like today for you?
That was a great transition because I was about to say that effective activism, you have to take it offline.
Okay.
Not everything happens online. A lot of people are keyboard warriors and they go and fight with people, or they think that, but we also need people in the streets, at city council, at county commissioners. We need people when it comes time to voting for those folks who can vote. We need them at the
Vote.
ballot box,
Vote.
there physically.
Yes.
So it's not just enough to talk about it or to share videos, but what are you physically doing to activate yourself to
Activate.
to for that message that you're receiving online to get you active in your community. And so
Very
I think that that's very important,
very
and
true.
more people need to jump that part. And a lot of people are like, well, we're scared things happen, and there's organizations like FIEL who run uh, peaceful protests that people can come to, and exercise their First Amendment right, and then go home at the end of the day.
And they go home, and we go home to our friends and family. That's very true. I think we're definitely in a time where we have to be grassroots, boots on the ground type of activism. You have to be there. You have to show up to city hall. You have to be in the communities. You have to go to every event that's going on, because we're power in numbers. Like, the people are really power in numbers. How can everyday people really get involved? Like, what do you recommend for anybody that, my aunt, my mom, anybody that really wants to help and make a difference and impact? What can they do for now?
Great question. I think people can get involved in whatever way they can get involved, because that's the other thing. Sometimes people think that activism is just going to a rally, going to a protest. You know what else is activism? Holding a fundraiser, a bake sale to support.
To support
Last weekend, shout out to DJ Roses. We had
DJ
a
Roses. We love DJ
we
Roses.
love DJ Roses. She had a pupusa sale, and also
I
shout
love.
out to Johnny Goldbricks. And and
Ooh.
we
We love
have
pupusas
the
too.
yes, they have these events, and it brings community
Yeah.
together, and through music and through food,
Hmm.
people come and learn more about the work that's going on.
Very true.
We were able to also, during this event, we were able to raise money for the Lorenzo Salgado Araujo family, and
Beautiful.
we already sent him a donation for,
Beautiful.
and it's that's activism.
That
The
is.
other activism is, getting your kids to get off their phones and saying, this this is going on in America. What do you think about it?
That
That
is.
was my first iteration of activism. Was my mom. Same thing. Back in my day, we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have tablets, and
Yes.
so we would have dinner together all the time. And my mom would say, we would talk about hard subjects like slavery and women's suffrage and things like that. And mom would say, "What do you think about that?" And she would teach
Hmm.
us to think critically. That's activism.
That's activism.
But the
It starts at
moms,
home. A lot of the
it's
times, it really
yes,
does start at home and your own, space and family. To be the resilience,
yes.
that you have to have when you go out here into the world. So I believe that is
I,
very true.
Absolutely, and a shout out also to artists and musicians and
We love it.
and podcasters and then all those people, like everything that can be shared for the better of the community, is activism.
Very
Right
true.
now, my good friend Violeta's having a show. And she does great street photography. She does concert photography, and she
Awesome.
dedicated her show to the community. There's a community altar there where people can go and add their pictures and their memories of their loved ones, and that's
Oh,
activism.
that is
So shout out
activism.
to Violeta Alvarez.
Shout out to her.
She's at Winter Street Studios right now. I encourage people to go check out her work.
Definitely.
There's other people that use art and photography and muralism, and that's activism.
That
So
is.
so activism is whatever you want to be, but just become active.
Doing it,
Don't
actually
just
doing it.
sharing and stuff is fine. Actually, we encourage people to share.
Yes.
People should share this podcast
Share,
with their
guys.
friends and family.
Inform and
But
inspire.
yes, but that should be step one to what's okay. What comes next?
What comes next? And you know what? Our cultures are very rich, and we love food. We love to be with each other and come together. And I think we should really need to like take advantage of that. Take advantage of our culture and our community, and actually do the things that we love to do already. But do it for a cause, like the pupusas. We all love to eat. We love DJ Roses. We love her too because her music is so cool and bomb. But we love that, and I feel like we do have to find our ways of actually helping and giving back. Even if you're an artist, even if you draw, or you could draw a picture and actually describe something that's really going on in the city, immigration statuses. There's so many things that we really can do and really activate yourself to actually be a part of the movement here in the community. What mistakes do people really make when trying to help? I know sometimes we might do things that are not always helpful. So what do you think are like things that we could become better?
When things are done with in good faith, I don't think we should call them mistakes. We should call them learning opportunities.
Learning
So
lessons. Beautiful.
if you're if you maybe said the wrong thing, give yourself some grace and say, okay, there would be other times, and try to avoid that. And we're never going to be perfect. Sometimes
Very true.
we say things that could be controversial. We do things that might not sit well. They may have come out wrong, but I don't think that they're when they're meant with good intention, with true good intention, not fake stuff, true good intention,
No
then
fakeness.
then I think there's always a chance for growth. It actually in organizing, specifically at Fiel, when we do an analysis of an event, we don't do plus or minus. We do plus and deltas, and then the pluses are what went well,
Okay.
and the deltas are what we can improve on.
Beautiful.
So we don't call them mistakes. We don't say this went wrong, but
Beautiful.
rather this is something that we can improve on. And once you have that mentality and your team has that mentality, then it takes a lot of the pressure off for saying, oh, did I do the wrong thing? Did I say the wrong thing? And it helps you grow as a person, as an organizer, and as a professional.
Very, very true. I think a lot of the times we do say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's very important, just to kind of have that consciously as leaders, as leaders in the city and as speakers and people that are going to tune into you. Is very important for that. How important is local activism involvement compared to the national coverage that we're getting?
There's a difference. If we're talking about another city like New York, Chicago, LA, activism is very important in those cities, and they are part of the national stage. And this is a delta for Houston.
Delta for Houston.
In Houston, we are the fourth largest city in the United States, and we need to start acting like it.
Yes.
We need to make sure that our voices are heard on any issue, not just on immigration issues, education, health, women's health, LGBTQIA plus rights, all that they're heard on all of these issues, because we are the fourth largest city. We have a huge stake in the game, and more importantly, we are the most diverse city in the United States.
We are.
So we have to start acting like it, and we have to make sure that our activism also reflects that. Now, there are challenges in Houston. Part of the challenge is being mobility. People,
Oh, yes.
we don't have a mass public transportation system and things like that. But I think that's something that we should keep in mind to make sure that we put ourselves on the map, and tell the rest of the world, hey, we're not just cool because of our diversity. We're also cool because we make our diversity work.
Definitely. I think we do have such a cultural different background here, a lot of cultures, ethnicities, and, just so much in the city that we really do have to activate. We've been saying how, the things that have happened all over the United States now with immigration, it's very scary to a lot of people. A lot of cultures are being affected, not only the Hispanics, but other cultures as well. And, it's very important to actually keep in mind what your impact is and your numbers, the number and the impact of numbers and the power that you have. You know, when you do things like this, many people are feeling really uncertain at these current times. Immigrations and Latino communities. What advice can you give them to actually give them support during these troubling times?
Well, I think the most important thing for them to know, for our community to know, is that they're not alone. I think that there's organizations and there's people out there that are willing to support them. So I think that's really, really important for them to know. The other thing is, the more practical things is everybody has to have a plan in case anything goes wrong. Especially in the immigrant community, it's important to not avoid the subject, but rather face it head on and come up with a family plan. Houston, we are used to natural disasters, hurricanes,
Yes.
tornadoes, and things like that.
Oh yes.
We don't know when a hurricane is going to hit us. We wish that a hurricane doesn't hit us. But if a hurricane hits us, we have our little documents in the Ziploc baggies and all of that stuff for flooding. And so we equate this ice storm as a hurricane. We don't know when it's going to hit us. We hope that it doesn't hit us. It could be at our doorstep and then go another way. But we should be ready. We should have, just like we have hurricane preparedness guides, we at FIEL have deportation preparedness guides so that people can know what to do and how to prepare in case the storm does hit home. And so it's really important for folks to have that, but also for folks to know that they're not alone. They shouldn't suffer in silence. And if somebody gets picked up by immigration, they should reach out to organizations like FIEL who can guide them through the process.
Beautiful. And thank you so much for doing all that great work in our community. Our immigrant community really, really needs your help. And I'm so happy that you're actually a stand up leader for that. Thank you. What practical steps can individuals and actually families stay informed and engaged throughout the times?
Well, just like we use social media to be chismosos and to like check out what the comadre
¿Qué
and
están
the
haciendo?
yeah, and what the ex is doing,
Oh
and
my God, they
all
blocked
of
that.
that stuff. We can use social media for the greater good and
Very
share.
true.
We should be community chismosos and like, hey, something's happening here. Let's go down there.
Let's
Let's
go.
let's support this group. Let's
Definitely.
support this cause. Let's support this business.
Yes.
And so it's really important for everyday people to be able to do that. And it's really important for folks to know that even that engagement is engagement. The other thing, and this is more on the broader sense, like I wish, and this is me on my soapbox now. I wish people had more like face to face, actually like call people, like
Conversations. Yes.
people freak out when I call them.
Really?
Like there's some people,
I'm like,
especially,
oh my gosh,
and
this is
not to
Caesar.
sound old, but younger people have a harder time when I call them. They're like, "What's wrong? Why are you calling
What?
me?"
What's the
And I'm
what's the
like,
emergency?
"Yeah," and I'm like, the phone was invented by what is it, Bell,
Yes.
to like actually hear people's voices and talk to them. So I am
Very true.
a caller guy. Like all of my team will tell you that,
Beautiful.
Caesar's always on the phone. He's
Yes.
always calling people. I dislike texting, but I even in that I go further, and I love to have coffee with people. I love people to come to the office for us to, because it just changes the whole dynamic
It
of the
does.
relationship.
It does,
It
most
builds
definitely.
mutual trust and respect, and I think that's something practical that people can do in their everyday
And the
lives, even with
everyday.
their children, with their families,
Starting with with
with
family.
families,
Yes.
we should be more like that.
Involved and more a
Hmm.
little bit more involved. How can neighbors support one another during these events and these challenging times? Most of the time, you hear about things, but you're not like fully aware of your own neighbor. Are they legally here? Are they not legally here? How do I help them? Do they have family? Do they, is there one breadwinner in the family? Like things like that. There's a lot of different scenarios that we could come about. But how do you help a neighbor?
The first step is to actually be a neighbor. Most of us, and my family was guilty of this.
Yeah.
Like, we lived in the neighborhood for 10 years. We never talked to our neighbors. We never.
Ahí no fuimos chismosos, nada.
Yeah, my suegra is different. She has her whole block organized, and they all have each other's numbers. and
Beautiful.
and when one leaves out of town, they go feed the dogs. They go
Yes.
and water the plants. They go pick up the mail. There's a
Beautiful.
network.
Yes,
And so I
definitely.
think more people need to do that, especially right now,
Especially.
so that people can know, like, can get to know each other and get to know what the needs are. The other thing is, and I'm always a proponent of breaking bread with people. I think that
Yes,
that's such an intimate but also a powerful way to like get to know people.
definitely.
That you share a meal and then people start talking about what their experiences are, and things like that, and be also be mindful because you don't want to go into a thing and be like, so do you have papers or not? Because then
No, yeah, yeah. Be like,
I would freak out. I'd be
I
like,
will
who
be.
are you? Why are you asking me
Are you
this?
immigration? No.
Yes,
We
but
don't do that. We don't do
as you get to know your neighbors, you get to know that their stories,
Their
where they come from, their
dynamics.
dynamics, and you get to know them truly as neighbors. And I think and we need to create that sense of community, and not just in our own neighborhoods, but also like across the city. I have friends all over Houston. We meet, we talk about what's going on in their neighborhood. And so it's really important to create that sense of community, that sense of neighborhood.
Yes.
But it is a challenge in a city with 6 million people, with I don't know how many square footage we got, but we're
Huge.
bigger than some countries.
Yes.
And
A
so
lot of land
yeah,
in Houston.
but we need to be more in tune to that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well said. What role should local like organizations play in helping communities with these rapid changes going on?
I mean, it's a huge responsibility that local organizations have right now, because we're responding to, I mean, every single need that you can think of,
Yes.
and we're at capacity. So I think part of the other thing is that we need more hands on deck. We need more people to come forward. This is the part where I also say that we do need more money,
Sí, dinero.
because a lot of people think that things just come out of because of what I told you
Mhm.
earlier, that Houston is so underrepresented at the national level. Funding is hard for Houston because they're like, why should we invest in Houston if you're in a red state and you're like whatever? And we're like, we have a huge immigrant population, about
Huge.
600,000. One out of every 10 Houstonians is
It's
undocumented.
undocumented.
And so we
Wow.
need the help, but we get so much less support from foundations and other people at the national level just because of where our geographical
Where
location
we're
is. So it's
at.
up to us. So if there's anybody out in the community, anybody watching that has the $1 million, we are a 501c3 tax deductible organization. They can donate. And if you don't have the $1 million, but you can have up to $5,000 that you can part ways with, that you can
We
deduct it
love
out of your
donations.
taxes. But if you can't come up with the $5,000, $1, $2,
Definitely.
$10,
$10.
buying a shirt from us,
Yes.
uh, you know, any
Buy
of
the
that. And
pupusas.
if I end up going to the events where we have the
Events.
pupusas,
Yes.
going to last year they had Pilates and they had a Zumba thing for us.
Oh, love,
I did not
love.
do Pilates. I did do
Yeah.
Zumba. There's a video of me out there. Like
Ooh, we gotta see it.
there's so many ways that people can get involved and can contribute to the cause. We've also had one of the you just reminded me of this young boy. He's probably in his early teens now. But a few years ago, he did a lemonade stand for us, and
Oh,
he donated
awesome.
$23 to us, and that
Oh my
was
gosh, that's
so awesome
amazing.
because he knew what he was setting up the lemonade stand for,
Beautiful.
and then he knew where his money went, and that is so impactful.
That is
So
so
any little bit helps.
impactful. It
Yes.
is, and then age doesn't, it doesn't stop you. Even if you're older, younger, age, race, it does not matter. We are so strong that we could do it ourselves and help others and be impactful and be the ripple, in the community. So I love that. I love that he did that, and that's so inspiring to the youth. I love it. As well, the most recent passing of Lorenzo has affected many in Houston. Without speculations, what message would you like to share about honoring his life and supporting those impacted?
I think it's important that we know that this family is not going to be whole again. I mean, this is a life-altering event for Lorenzo, his children, and his wife. Um, and we have to make sure that we continue to support them in community. We have to make sure that at the end of the day, whatever the investigation may bring out, that it is a thorough, transparent investigation, because this is what the family deserves. This is what the
Do
community deserves.
most
And
definitely.
in the name of accountability, we need to see what happened, and we
Yes.
need to know what happened, and we need to make sure of what happened.
Yes,
The
the
one
details. So at least for the family needs to know what what happened to
the
them.
one thing we are sure of is that there is absolutely no law or no ordinance or there's no mandate that says that a federal agency gets to be judge, jury, and executioner on our streets. So that is what we know, and that is what we're going to continue to say until we get the information and the family gets the determination that and the answers that they deserve.
That they deserve. We do. How can the communities channel grief, during this crisis that we have?
You're the first person to ask me that question. That's a
Really?
really good question, and I think I haven't really spoken about this publicly, but I think it's important for folks to channel grief however they channel grief. Some people, like to listen to music and cry, and some people just like to cry in silence. Some people like to go to vigils and marches. Some people like to. So I think whatever way people want to channel grief is their own private way of doing so, and we cannot dictate that. But what we can ask is that people turn that grief into action
Beautiful.
and then don't just stay with the grief and we've made as a community we've made the mistake of saying well things happen, it happens, and we shouldn't las cosas pasan,
Sí.
eso es normal, and it's not
And
normal,
it's
it's
not.
not, and we
It's
should
not.
all be worried because it was Lorenzo, but it could be any one of
It
us.
really can. I feel like now as a community we have learned to like desensitize a lot of the things that really go on, and grieving is such an important part of, just processing your feelings, your emotions, what happened. And it's so important to heal, and part of that grieving is healing, and it's very impactful, and there's no right or wrong way to grieve. I feel like whatever you do, how you do it, is right. There's no right or wrong, way to actually grieve, which is very important during these times. What lessons have you learned about unity and supporting during the difficult times right now?
Oh, that's a good question too. What lessons have I learned about unity is that when people want to help out without any personal agenda or egos, unity is the strongest thing that we can come about.
Beautiful.
But you have to meet the criteria without any self aggrandizement or ego. That's when unity really comes in handy, and we need more of that.
We do
Um,
selflessly.
selflessly.
Selflessly,
And
correct.
the second part of the question was,
The second part was and what about honoring the life and supporting those impacted? So what really is,
I,
just sharing and helping with that.
I think it's important that we continue to honor their lives and we can continue to say these names because otherwise they'll be forgotten in the news cycle. It'll just be, the next thing comes up and it people move on to the next thing. So I think part of it is keeping that momentum going and keeping that support going until we reach the end of this case. In Houston, we helped out the John Hernandez family about God, it was probably about 10 years ago now, and we were with them for 3 years to a mistrial, a retrial, and at the end of the day, we got the person who murdered John in jail. But
Beautiful.
it was a lot of
A
work, and then it
long
was a
time.
lot of keeping it and making sure that the media did not forget John's name, that the media did not forget this family until justice was done.
That's beautiful. That is definitely beautiful. And a lot of the times we do forget that, it all of this process, the civil courts, all of this it takes a long time. It's not an easy, just 1, 2, 3, you go in and come out. It takes months, sometimes years, sometimes to actually get some type of, answer, and that's so beautiful that you actually stay with them throughout that whole process. Because a lot of the times our Latino community is scared, to even come into court, to come into these locations and not feel confident walking in, and just having you there, you have that support, and I feel like that's so beautiful that our community and Houston actually has someone like you, and very inspiring. Thank you for actually doing that.
And and scare and fear and all of that is normal. The first time I went to court with a family, I was scared too. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know
¿Qué
what
voy a
I'm
hacer?
doing. I didn't have papers at the time, so I was like,
Oh, yes.
like there's fear, but
Yes.
one of the other key pillars of what Fiel says now is we never allow people to do some. We never ask people to do something that we're not willing to do ourselves. And most of the time, when we step into these places, is because we've been there, and we know what can happen when people speak out.
Beautiful. That is very, very beautiful. I love that. Also, how can communities channel? I'm sorry. Well, what was your experience like at City Hall?
Um, I've been to City Hall probably 6,000 times at this point. Which one are we talking? I've had really good.
Any
I've had
times
really
that
good
you that pop
experiences.
out,
I've
yes.
had really good experiences. I have really bad experiences. So I'll talk about three.
Okay, top three.
The top three. You're making me think of my feet. I like this.
Ah, I
The
love.
first, I guess the one of the first major. No, I mean I've been in City Hall. I've been going to City Hall since I was 15 years old. I'm now 41, so
Beautiful.
25, 26 years. I learned the first time I went to City Hall, I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't know what to say.
What do I do?
But one of the in my early stages of my activism, probably in 2008, yes, 2008, I did receive a proclamation to the city. There is a Cesar Espinosa Day
Yay!
somewhere in one of
Congratulations.
my archives, and that was that was a really good experience. My family was
Amazing.
very proud.
Oh
I
my
was a
gosh,
young man at
amazing.
that point.
Beautiful.
Uh, and then there's been times where I've gotten dragged out of City Hall.
Oh,
Yes, been picked up and physically lifted
dragged
from
out.
chambers
Oh my
for
gosh.
speaking truth to power. And this last time was really incredible because specifically during this last time that we went and calling for independent investigation, a city-led independent investigation for the Lorenzo Salgado Arajo um, killing. Uh, it was really powerful to see chamber packed with community members. The overflow room was packed with community members, and outside was packed with people calling for
Protesting.
justice. And so when we're speaking to the mayor, you hear the chanting, and it was really interesting and really powerful to hear that because they were
They were
listening to it.
there. That
They
is
were hearing it,
beautiful.
and we've seen already the mayor's changed his tone on some of these things, but we have to keep going. Otherwise, we're gonna revert back.
That's amazing. That actually gave me goosebumps while you were saying that. Just how
Yes.
impactful that is, and it is all about showing up, especially at city halls, different events and location. It's so important to show up. Just be there. Community come together. We inspire each other, we inform each other, and that's how we help each other really. And it really is healing just to see hearing that outside while you're inside, speaking to the mayor and speaking to the different officials. So that is so amazing, and that's so cool to actually have experienced that. Um, uh,
Actually, let me add something to that. Now, part of what people don't see is the impact that we make. There's a young lady who's interning with us right now, and she's undocumented. And when she started her internship with us, we took her to City Hall for the first time, and she was very scared. Like she was like because of her status and things like that. She was worried, genuinely
yes.
worried. And as me, as an organizer, as the executive director of Fiel, also kind of like a dad of the interns
Yes.
and stuff like that, it was really powerful that she came up. She before she left yesterday, before she left her office yesterday, I told her I was like, "Thank you for all your help today. You were phenomenal." And she was like, "No, no, thank you. It was a great experience." And then she's about to leave, and then she comes back. She was like, "I think I want to speak the next time at City Hall."
Amazing.
And I was like,
Inspiring.
I was like,
Yes.
I'm starting to
Yes.
it's like the Matrix.
My little pupil.
I'm starting to believe like and
Yes.
that's so powerful because in many things that we do, we help people also find their voice.
Beautiful. That is the most beautiful part. Your voice is so powerful, and we can no longer be silenced. I think that's what's mostly an impactful thing in Houston, that we have a lot of great leaders that actually speak up, and they will speak up true colors, and that is so impactful because we need that. We need more leaders to stand up and actually be, the voice of the community, of your community at that. So that is so amazing. I really hope that she does go up there and we hear her next time.
Yes.
We're gonna look for that one. On a different scale, what makes a strong community leader?
Our tribe, our family, my
Beautiful.
wife, my son, my mom. I talk to mom every single day.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Shout out to
and
mama.
shout out to mom, who's in Mexico right now, but I
Living your
call her.
best life.
I call her every day, and we talk, and it's just having that support network. My friends too. I have friends that I talk to every single day.
Beautiful.
They check up on me. I have people that text me, and then I mean even on minute things like, did you eat already? Are you drinking enough water? Like people remind me,
Reminders,
and then that's
yes.
also so helpful. But what keeps me going is I mean that's what really helps is like that support system, and it is impactful. Like this week, I haven't really seen my family. Like I haven't seen my wife and my
Oh my
kid,
gosh, yes.
and so it's really important for us to for us to have those times and for us to be able uh, to continue living that and to continue to have that support system. So
Beautiful,
shout out to
beautiful.
the tribe.
Shout out to everybody that
Yes.
supports, especially keeps us glued together. Um, I also, on the other scale, leadership takes a lot. You know, your workload and everything that you put on your back, it's a lot. What do you do to prevent the burnout?
Um, I have moments of levity. So there's a maybe I'm gonna unmask myself here on the Yes JJ show,
Just a little bit. It's okay.
but when people there's two types of people that I work with, and it's the people that or that see me, I guess you can say. There's the people that see me out in when I'm angry, when I'm yelling at people, when I'm like intense, like in the rain, throwing it down. And then there's people that know how I actually really am. And in my personal life and in my professional life, behind the scenes, I'm very relaxed. I listen to people a lot. I love to joke. I love to dance. I love to sing. I
Oh
love
my
to
gosh.
hang out with my kiddo. And I am the funkle to my all of
Ooh, you the
my,
fun uncle.
to all of my.
How many nephews and nieces do you
I
have?
have one, two, three, four, five. I have five right
Five.
now. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and
They keep you
and
busy.
yeah, and I go to my mom's house, to my sister's house, and and I play with them, and we play Simon Says, and we wrestle, and I sometimes play too tough
Dude,
with them,
yes.
and they cry, but
It's part of being
it's
the
part of being
uncle.
an uncle, and then we go places, and then just hanging around with them really helps me. But I also that's a part of my life. The other thing that I've been sharing, and this specifically a shout out to my wife is that she's like, I come home and she's like, well, you're tired and this and that. And then the other day, little things. We were pumping gas, and I noticed that her windshield wipers were gone and that she didn't have liquid in her car because I hadn't done that.
Yes.
And then so like we're over there at midnight, and I'm getting her windshield wipers, and I'm getting her the little liquid for the car, for the windshield, and all of that stuff. And she's like, you don't have to. And I tell her, I was like, at the end of the day, I am Cesar, the executive director of Fiel,
Yes.
but I'm also a dad and a husband, and so I think all of that helps, and it just it keeps things balanced.
That is beautiful. That is
Hmm.
beautiful. I think it's so important to, shake a tail feather or put some music on or do some fun stuff,
Yeah,
when you're so stressed out. We get overwhelmed. There's so much going on, all over the Houston and the world and us as a whole nation. We have a lot on our backs, and it's just it's definitely a great mental break to be able to actually like chill, not be the executive for a day, be a husband, a dad, the uncle, the fun uncle, run around, do some fun stuff. We forget that we're human, and that's so beautiful about having that, having our friends and our family with us, that they remind us, to like keep going. It gives you
yeah,
that little extra push, at the
yeah.
end of the day when you're just burnt out, tired, stressed out, and it's so beautiful to actually see that. Um, what would you say that you like to do in Houston? What's one of your favorite restaurants here in Houston that you like to go out with the family or friends?
I think you already know the answer to that question. My favorite thing to do in Houston is eat.
Eat.
I love
We
to
love
eat.
food.
I love to eat and drink coffee. Some of my God, there's so many good things to eat. I have categories.
You do?
I have categories on the Google map of like types of food, what kind of food, prices, you name
Prices.
it. But right now, I think some of my God, I don't want to hurt feelings, but
I know.
some of my favorite spots are Maximo, run by Chef Adrian. He just won the James Beard
Ooh.
Award.
Awesome.
Another, I want to also give a shout out to Cochinita and Co. Run by Chef Victoria. Is her food, her cochinita is my
Ooh.
favorite.
We
And then
love.
if you go to Cochinita and Co. and you don't try the vegan tinga tostadas,
Oh, I love tinga. Tinga's
you're
my
missing
favorite.
out.
Oh
You're
my
missing out. I
gosh.
that's like I'm not vegan. I eat meat, but I respect people that are vegan and vegetarian.
See.
But I crave those tostadas. So shout out to Chef Victoria.
Ooh, we love.
I think there's so many good Vietnamese places. My second favorite food besides
Love.
Mexican food is Asian food.
I love.
One of the things that that's that same thing is another side of me. It's like in the last 2 years I've been able to travel to outside of the country because I got my green card, and I've spent sometimes the first time I went to Mexico. Well, the second time I went to Mexico, I spent about a month out there,
Oh, beautiful.
and when I came back. I got picked up from the airport, and they were like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Please, please, please take me to pho. Like, I need to
I
eat pho.
need
I
some
need
fun.
pho in my life right now because there's no pho in Mexico City.
Oh my
Well,
gosh,
good.
dude.
There's no good pho.
There's
Sorry,
menudo. We got
sorry,
menudo, pozole.
sorry,
We got all
sorry
the
to
other good
sorry
stuff.
to Mexico City. Mexico City has amazing food, but they don't have good pho.
They don't. I
And
understand.
so that I was like, it's almost like an ambulance was taking me to my favorite Vietnamese spot, and I ate
Beautiful.
everything
You
because I
did.
was I was missing it.
We love.
Yes,
This is what we love about Houston as a food.
yes,
We love banh mi's, pho. We love all the good stuff, man. I love
yeah,
noodles. I'm a big noodle person. I love noodles. So
yes,
like Thai noodles and all that. Ooh, that's my
yes,
favorite. But we're big. My family's big. We always do tinga at the house. So my
yeah.
grandma's like, oh my gosh, my grandma's a chef of our family,
Hmm.
and she absolutely loves to cook. So we love to eat her food, and tinga is one of our favorites that she does. So it's
Yes,
amazing. I really do enjoy
good
it.
stuff.
Yes, yes, we do. Do you do any hobbies here in Houston? Is there any fun activities or hobbies that you have?
Love to dance. I
Love to
love.
dance.
I'm also a fourth generation musician. So
Ooh.
and going back to activism and artivism, dancing, all of that is also resistance. Because our existence is resistance. So
Oh.
some people, we've been asked for people, well, why after a rally, sometimes do you guys play like music, like dancing music and stuff like that's supposed to be like hardcore and political? And I'm like, even that, it's hard for people to know or to fathom that that's also an act of resistance.
It
Like
is.
dancing was like, if you haven't looked up the history of cumbia and the two-step of cumbia, you're in for a rude awakening because cumbia was born from slavery.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway, there's so much history. There's so much, and people don't people
Revolutionary. That's
people don't and people don't like that we do that. And not
really.
not not just in our community, but
Mhm.
people outside looking in. They're like, oh, look at those people, dancing. But that's who
It's
we are.
part of our
That's who
culture.
we
It's
are.
part of our culture. It keeps us upbeat. It keeps us, like
Yes.
going. And there's a lot of there's a lot of songs that are really activist songs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs that were actually banned because of activism.
Mm-hmm.
And because of what they said on songs. So it's very, very crucial to be, have all of the elements of our culture in it, and I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you have music.
Yeah.
I'm a person that would love to be up there. I will shake a tail feather with you.
And there's some people that are also triggered by that. There's been instances where we're with people that are very anti-immigrant, and I know that I'm not going to convince them. So what do? I welcome them to Houston Love Radio, and then I just play a bunch of rancheros for them, and then they eventually go away because
You're
they're
gonna
like,
hear us.
yeah, you're gonna hear us, and if you're not gonna hear me speak because you don't care what you can say, you're gonna listen to our beautiful music,
Yes.
and a lot of them get
Yes.
annoyed and they leave, and that's
It's not
activism.
for them. It's just not for them. It's
Oh.
not their crowd. It's not their community. And I understand that. We're gonna do a quick little, just rapid round questions. Just some funner questions. Are you a coffee person or a tea person?
Coffee all the way.
Coffee. Love coffee.
12 shots a day. I have an addiction. Yes.
We love coffee over here too.
Yes.
This is probably our fifth cup of the day.
I'm already on 8 shots today, and I need about another 4 to keep me
to
going.
keep it going.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What would be your like dream vacation? What would be something that you haven't experienced yet, but you would love to go?
Oh, that's a good question. Going. Uh, oh, that's a good question. Probably going somewhere like in the middle of nowhere with no Wi-Fi and no cell phone.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out
I
the
have,
cities.
I have two phones, and sometimes I'm like, here, y'all talk to each other
Oh
because
my,
I can't connect y'all. Yeah, while I'm
at this
driving.
point.
No,
Oh
I'm just.
my gosh, multitasker. Guys, be safe. Drive safely out here in
Yes.
Houston. I love that. I love that. I love that you are you're so relatable, as a leader, a community leader, you're so relatable. What's something inspiring that you could tell the youth, that has brought you to the leader that you are now, that you can give advice to the youth that are becoming the future leaders?
Oh, they're not gonna like this. Listen to your parents. They know best, and you learn that at a later age.
Very
Uh,
true.
and uh, and listen, and then when they become parents, try to be active parents in how they teach your kids, and do a lot of deltas. With
Oh,
my
beautiful.
son, I we talk a lot. I listen to what he says. I try to teach him to think critically, and um, and I do a lot of things that I wish my parents would have done with me. So, and the hope is
Beautiful.
that he internalizes that, and then he does things with his kids, if he chooses to have them, that that didn't do with him. So
That is
it's
so
always an
beautiful.
improvement.
Yes, that is
Yes.
so beautiful. It's so beautiful to always, give back to your community, especially your youth, and everybody else, your family, friends. That's the most important people that you can impact is your family and friends. That's the closest to you.
Mhm.
But we're so grateful. We're so grateful that you were here. You do such a great impact to the whole community, all of Houston. You're known nationally, so you do amazing. Please keep doing the great job that you do, and thank you so much for being at the Yes JJ show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us, and I encourage people to share this, and to make
Please
sure
share.
that they become active in their communities.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Bye.